a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad. You'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey, all you beautiful movie-loving people out there, live from a red carpet somewhere, surrounded by celebrities. This is the Movies Merica podcast with Van Ebert, where movie reviews meet cold brews. Van will review your favorite and maybe not so favorite movies while enjoying some ice-cold beers and saying cheers. Now let's head into the theater and join our illustrious movie reviewer du jour, who's no doubt got the beer ready to pour, Van Ebert. The date is March 3rd, and the city is ready for a movie review about a certain character named the Cape Crusader, and Van Ebert is just the movie reviewer this city deserves. And now he's going to start doing his review of The Batman.
Police! Hands up! Stay still! Get out of here!
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
I've been trying to reach you.
Find the gun!
This is about a king, and Riddler's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance. What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Take it.
I got you! I got you!
Ooh, you can feel the pulse-pounding excitement in the air. Oh, yeah. That is the Batman in a T right there. That is just the way to describe it. It's incredible. It's a very electrifying movie. It's an incredible movie, and I'll say right off the bat, it's not quite as good as The Dark Knight. So that's the take I'll put out there right at the top. But before we get further into the review here, I just want to let you know here that this review is this podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the usual suspects in the cast of characters, all right? So also I'm on Twitter and Instagram under Movies Merica. And if you want to reach out to me there, get my DMs or however the kids are saying it nowadays. And then also I put up posts out there, and then my review, I put a link to my reviews out there on Twitter and Instagram as well. Also, the reviews are on moviesmerica.com. And as you all know, I typically do drink a beer on these episodes here. You know, I like to mix my two loves, reviewing movies, just talking about movies, just conversating about movies, and beer. Two of my loves in my life, okay? I have many other loves. Those are two of them. And but I will have to forsake one of my loves now, just temporarily. I will not be drinking a beer on this episode. I'm doing this 75 hard fitness program, and one of the rules is no booze for 75 days. So, yep, I'm right in the middle of that no booze purgatory right now. But anyway, enough boo-hooing for yours truly here. You know, people have it a lot worse in the world, that's for sure, than not being able to knock back some Maker's Mark, right? Or a beer. But anyway, so yeah, let's get right into the Batman. This is a not that the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy was something that needed to be improved on. It's just nice to get another director's take on the Batman, you know, to get their interpretation, you know, what they had, you know, just kind of rattling around in their melon, you know, as far as how they would do a Batman movie. And I think that, you know, Matt Reeves is a fantastic choice to really take on a true Batman movie. I don't even count the Batman versus Superman and those movies with Ben Affleck. I thought Ben Affleck was just kind of a blah Batman. I mean, he just stands around and just broods, right? Him and his 5 o'clock shadow. And yeah, so I don't really count Ben Affleck as like standalone Batman movie. He actually didn't have a standalone Batman movie. I guess he just wasn't good enough. And this movie right here, The Batman, was supposed to be his standalone Batman movie. I can't remember what happened with it, but I am relieved that he is not in this movie, and Robert Pattinson is in as the protector of Gotham, the Caped Crusader. And yeah, so Matt Reeves, you may know him from directing the movie Cloverfield, you know, the movie about, you know, the big alien attacking New York City. It's like the found footage, you know, another one of those found footage movies there. That was pretty good. I really did like, even better than Cloverfield, I really liked his 2 Planet of the Apes movies. Especially, I think it was the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That one was incredible. War for the Planet of the Apes was pretty good too. But it is he provided this darker, more substantive, you know, movie. This, you know, action spectacle movie, Planet of the Apes, but it actually had some real heft to it, right? And some good storytelling and some substances. They were heavy. They were heavy movies, and that's what, you know, added to just the overall entertainment value of those Apes movies. And you do get that in the Batman as well. It's a film. It's filmed like a film noir. It is the rare mixture of film noir and like big budget summer movie extravaganza. I mean, it mixes the two brilliantly. It's got the film noir because you've got Robert Pattinson as the Batman. He does some narration in it. I was kind of giving you like a sample of it, you know, when the podcast first started. You know, the date is March 3rd. You know, so it's got that going on in the movies to kind of add to the film noir effect of it. But it also has plenty of just big action scenes in it, just big set pieces. And that just makes the Batman, just this mix of this bouillabaisse of film noir and big action spectacle and mystery thriller and just detective. You'd see like a serial detective kind of just thriller. Just I would say that if David Fincher ever made a Batman movie, this is the movie. Okay, it is like as if David Fincher made a Batman movie, and which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. I definitely consider that a good thing, and because it does have a lot of Seven in it. It's got that atmosphere, and it's also got The Crow. It reminded me of The Crow. I remember in The Crow, it seemed like it was always raining, and in this movie, it seems like it's the same way. It's always raining. It's always night. There's no Devil's Night in this movie, but and I did like The Crow. I liked how The Crow was that. I liked what The Crow was. I liked how it was that gritty, realistic, dark, rainy, movie there, just full of hopelessness and and I know it sounds funny that that's entertaining, but it is, and this movie does the exact same thing. It makes Gotham, the city of Gotham, out to be this big expansive metropolis, this big expansive city, and it does a good job at portraying Gotham as this cesspool, right? It's this corrupt, just sleazy, city that's just begging for renewal, right? And that's an overwhelming theme in this movie is renewal. You'll see that in this movie. It's like a ongoing theme in the movie is renewal, and it makes Gotham City, like Christopher Nolan did, just have this gritty, trashy kind of style to it. It's definitely a city in need of a savior. It's definitely a city with plenty of crime that needs to be stopped by someone, wearing a bat cowl and a cape, right? And about that, Robert Pattinson, I did like his portrayal of Batman. This is like the movie where you're going to see Batman be Batman the most. Okay, he barely plays Bruce Wayne in this movie. You barely see him as Bruce Wayne. He's like 95% of the movie, he's Batman, which is great. You're getting, the cape, the cowl, the utility belt, all the, the gadgets. You're getting that for most of the movie, and they make Batman out to be a true badass in this movie. I mean, they do a good job at the beginning of the movie of letting you know that he's been doing this for a couple of years. Everyone knows who he is. Criminals definitely fear him. When they see that bat signal flash up in the sky, they need to change the shorts. Okay, so apparently the Batman in those 2 years has had an effect. Okay, he's here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and he's almost out of bubble gum. he takes to the criminals, and they literally fear him. The fear that good law-abiding citizens have for criminals. Well, those criminals have that same fear for the Batman, and Matt Reeves does a masterful job at really portraying Batman as this foreboding instrument of terror and fear in the hearts of all criminals. And I liked the confrontations, the fights that he had with the criminals, and the atmospheric and the music, set it up just nicely. That's one thing I want to touch on before I forget is the soundtrack. Michael Giacchino. I always forget. I can never pronounce his name correctly, but Michael Giacchino, I think, is who it is. The score is not quite as good as the Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard score from Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, but it's really close. And and I'm sure that that he wasn't trying to be Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. I mean, that would just be stupid, right? He's got to put his own signature on it, and so even though it's not Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard, it's still pretty fantastic, and it is a crucial part of this movie, and it just lends that extra gravitas and heft to the action scenes, particularly the best car chase scene I've ever seen. Well, I've seen it in a long time. Ever is a pretty strong word, so, and I might be forgetting a car chase here. I remember the car chase in Batman Begins and The Dark, or and To Live and Die in L.A. Those there's good car chases in several movies. Ronin has some good car chases in that movie, but this one is, I don't know. Ask me again in 5 years, and I would not be surprised if I take stock of all the car chases I see in movies and I say, like, this one is up on the podium with the gold medal. I mean, and the sound design for this movie is fantastic. That really added to just the intensity of the car chase, and the cinematography is fantastic. This car chase takes place at night in the rain, and I'm sure you've probably seen it in the trailers where, you see the Batmobile jumping out of the flames, chasing the Penguin, and that's who's he's in the car chase with. He's chasing down the Penguin, and it's just you could definitely tell, like, a lot of the budget was put on this car chase, and that's not the only great set piece in this movie, but it's the one that I think I will remember, and it's fantastic. And the Batmobile is featured heavily, obviously, in that car chase scene. And the Batmobile, I remember seeing it in the trailer. I was like, okay, all right. Just looks like, somebody just, rebuilt a muscle car and put, like, a jet engine on the back. And, okay, But then when you see it in the movie, you have an all new respect for it, because this movie is trying to be a little bit, is not trying, it achieves having this more of a down to earth edge to it, kind of rough around the edges. And so to have something like the Tumbler from The Dark Knight, or, any of the Batmobiles that we've seen in the Joel Schumacher and Tim Burton movies, just wouldn't fit into the whole atmosphere of this movie. And so this Batmobile was the perfect Batmobile for this particular type of Batman movie. And it definitely, the Batmobile, it definitely was muscular, and it definitely had some balls to it, I mean, it's, and again, like I said, the sound design of this movie is incredible. And in the theater I saw it in, tip of the cap to the sound system in this theater that I saw, because it's just the roar of the engine and the bass, just really, added to the car chase scene. And also in other scenes too, there's, a lot of just fight scenes and nightclub scenes, where, if you go, make sure you get to a good theater with a good sound system, because it really enhances, the movie experience, particularly for this movie, The Batman. I mean, you just gotta check it out with a great sound system. Don't go to some chintzy, crappy, $1 a movie, Kmart theater. Don't do that. Don't cheat yourself out of a great experience. It's, you got to see it with the big booming sound. And so, and it also has a great mysterious atmosphere to this movie too. And I don't mind the runtime. This movie is almost 3 hours long, but I like it because it gives this movie the opportunity to give a real suspense to the scenes by making the scenes longer than they would be if the director did what movie studios always want you to do. They want you to make a movie. It's a nice, clean 90-minute movie where you You can show it, as many times as possible. You could choke a movie theater with this nice 90-minute movie and make more, bang for the buck. But I'm glad that, and I'm not saying that the studio asked that of Matt Reeves, in making this there. But, if they did, I'm glad Matt Reeves, said, yeah, no, not so much. I'm going to make the Batman movie I want. And he obviously thought, okay, I need to have this movie have an epic length, and not just to have an epic length. The story demanded it. The pacing of the movie demanded it, and just having a chance to really expand out some scenes, to really embed you into the scenes, get you really involved in them, by building up the tension, and then eventually you get a release, and there's some really long, drawn out scenes, but in a good way, that definitely puts you right in the middle of this movie and of the action, gets you really involved and gets you invested in the plot. And yeah, it's a very immersive movie. I mean, I will be playing back the scenes in this movie for a long time. I mean, I'm gonna just, I could see myself just kind of like just, every few minutes, like just walking around doing my thing. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened in the Batman movie. Oh yeah, hey, what did that mean? Oh, what did this mean? What did that mean? Oh, what did that character mean when he said that? I mean, it's that movie. It definitely sticks with you, and so I'm definitely gonna go see it again. I'm gonna go check it out in IMAX. You got to go see it in IMAX. This time I just saw it in a conventional theater, but I'm definitely going to go see it in IMAX because I can imagine the sound is even better in there, and just the spectacle of the movie is incredible. Is going to be even more incredible in IMAX. The other characters in the movie, the actors that portrayed them, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman / Selina Kyle. She was a nice surprise. I've seen her in other movies, and she just really hasn't wowed me. I think she was in that X-Men First Class movie, and then I honestly can't remember the other movies I've seen her in. I'm sure I've seen her in other movies. I honestly can't remember, but in this movie, she holds her own. She holds her own. She has the one line in the movie though that made me groan, like, oh god, of course they had to put that in this movie. Okay, yeah, I guess it's that day and age. But other than that stupid line that she put in there, she did a great job, and her backstory in this movie is a good one. It ties into the rest of the plot very, very well. It's, and she portrays the emotion of her character in a very convincing way. Then also have Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I've always liked Jeffrey Wright as an actor. Some people might know him best from the TV series Westworld, or he played Felix Leiter in a few of the Daniel Craig, James Bond film. So he was the CIA agent in Casino Royale that was basically getting his butt handed to him at the Casino Royale poker table there. But Jeffrey Wright, yeah, he does a good job. I remember like way back when he was in the movie Shaft, the Samuel L. Jackson one, way back in the day, playing like some low-life thug. And so he was pretty good in that. Who else we got? Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell, you can't even recognize Colin Farrell in this movie. He plays the Penguin, and it does kind of a Jared Leto in House of Gucci, where he just plays a character that you can't even really recognize him. Jared Leto in House of Gucci, you could kind of recognize. Okay, that's Jared Leto in a fat suit, but you can't even tell this is Colin Farrell unless the only way you would know that this is Colin Farrell is just looking at the credits, just looking at the cast and crew list. But yeah, the Penguin, he's an okay villain in this. He's kind of a caricature. I heard some other reviewers like, oh, the Penguin, he chews up the scenery in every scene he's in. Not really, not so much. But yeah, he's a good one. And I was about to say something that might spoil the rest of the movies. So, but I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, so we've got John Turturro in this movie, and he plays Carmine Falcone, and he's a kind of sinister, sleazy character in it, and he adds some substance to it. He's not a one-dimensional character. He does a good job on making this mob boss Carmine Falcone be this one-dimensional character. He's not all bad. He's not all good. Well, they portray him as not all bad, but that kind of changes, and you'll see that in the movie here. So John Turturro is a character actor that we all know from way back, and Do the Right Thing and To Live and Die in L.A. and some Transformer movies, and a lot of Coen Brothers movies he's in. Who else we got? Andy Serkis plays Alfred. He's barely in the movie, but he does. Unfortunately, Alfred is kind of a thankless character. Outside of the Michael Caine portrayal of Alfred in the Dark Knight trilogy, but Andy Serkis kind of goes back to being the Alfred character of like that Jeremy Irons did with the Ben Affleck movies, or Michael Goo in the Tim Burton Batman movies. Just kind of a throwaway character. I mean, almost, but yeah. So yeah, there's it's just I would be remiss if I didn't mention the main villain, the Riddler, and the actor that portrays him, Paul Dano. Paul Dano does a very his portrayal of the Riddler is going to be ingrained in my mind for a while. He is just, he's very dark, very what's the word I'm looking for here? It's very evil, and in a subtle way sometimes, but it's okay. If this makes sense, it's subtle, but in your face way, if that makes any sense. And he sells this character, as someone who feels like he's been wronged, and it's not quite up there with Heath Ledger as the Joker, but it's pretty close. And Paul Dano, when they finally catch up to him, out of disguise, and it's a chilling moment, and he definitely does some damage. I mean, he gets some stuff done in this movie. I will say that. But yeah, check this movie out. I mean, I can't stress it enough. I'm so happy that this Batman movie is good. I'm always happy when you get like a long-awaited movie and it just turns out to be good. It's like a sigh of relief can be made, right? You can breathe easy now, and this movie is just fantastic. Way to go, Matt Reeves, the director of this movie. Fantastic job. Robert Pattinson, fantastic job in portraying the Batman. No one better be talking about you being in the Twilight movies anymore after this, okay? All right, well, hey, everyone. Thanks a lot, citizens of Gotham, for watching or for listening to this podcast. I always appreciate it. And stay safe out there and have fun.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the Popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'm gonna be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching.